Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're breaking down an absolutely massive milestone in global pharmaceutical exports. And we aren't just going to look at the headline numbers here. We're really going to dig in and uncover the specific economic engines driving this success, so you know exactly what's moving the needle in global health economics right now.
$8 billion. Okay, what makes this figure so staggering isn't just the sheer size of it, it's the timeline. This isn't some end-of-year annual review. This represents the total pharma exports achieved in just the first quarter of the year alone. That is a phenomenal amount of economic activity packed into just 3 short months.
Hitting this Q1 export milestone achieved sets an incredible run rate for the entire industry. I mean, if you do the math and multiply that pace out for the rest of the year, it completely redefines our expectations. It proves the sheer scale of global pharmaceutical demand right now and signals a highly aggressive, fast-paced market environment for the months ahead. But, of course, a number this big doesn't just happen by accident.
So, what is driving this massive surge? What is the actual anatomy of an $8 billion quarter? To truly grasp the significance of a milestone like this, we've got to unpack the specific drivers working behind the scenes of that giant headline.
The recent data actually isolates a dual-engine scenario. We've got 2 pillars of Q1 growth: continued momentum in formulations and a vaccine upswing. Let's break down exactly how these 2 pillars work together.
Let's start with driver 1, unpacking formulations. Now, we hear this term constantly tossed around in financial reports, right? But let's bust some of that industry jargon and get specific about what is actually crossing borders.
Basically, formulations are finished, consumable pharmaceutical products ready for patient use. We're talking about your tablets, your capsules, the stuff you'd actually pick up at a pharmacy, as opposed to just bulk, raw active ingredients. So when the data cites formulations, it means the primary economic engine of that $8 billion is the incredibly high, consistent global demand for ready-to-take medicines.
And the really crucial phrase to pay attention to here is continued momentum. This tells us that this demand, it isn't a flash in the pan. It's a solid, reliable foundation for the export market. It proves that the baseline global appetite for everyday finished medical products is steady and it's growing.
So, if formulations provide that reliable, steady foundation, what actually pushed the total over the $8 billion mark? Well, enter driver number 2, the vaccine surge. This creates just a perfect economic alignment. Think about it like this. On one side, you have formulations giving us a steady, continuous growth baseline, versus vaccines, which stepped in and delivered a really sharp dynamic upswing in Q1.
It acted as the critical secondary booster. The report explicitly identifies this vaccine upswing as the vital secondary catalyst. Steady formulations got the industry cruising at a really comfortable altitude, but this sudden surge in vaccines, that is the rocket fuel that propelled overall exports to record heights.
Bringing it all together, the source data perfectly encapsulates this entire dynamic. Pharma exports top $8 billion in Q1 on continued momentum in formulations' vaccine upswing. Every single word in that quote carries serious economic weight. It's an $8 billion quarter built on the everyday medicines we rely on, supercharged by a perfectly timed boom in vaccines.
Which brings us to the end of this explainer, and leaves us with one incredibly important question. Can this dual momentum be sustained through the rest of the year? We've seen formulations in vaccines create this massive, record-breaking pace in Q1, but the real test, the thing you should absolutely be watching for, is whether this unique economic alignment will survive into Q2 and beyond, or if market forces will shift. Keep your eyes on those 2 pillars. Thanks so much for joining me today.